What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Recording. What a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. When such big news stories already going into the week. Last night, we had a confrontation, a interview that was done but out of left field. You know, many of you know I've interviewed and I've long supported the work of James O'Keefe. In this particular case, in a completely unexpected scenario, he ended up cornering Dylan Mulvaney and asking some actual serious questions about the movement that Dylan Mulvaney has become the literal face of. And I don't think I've ever seen somebody so scared in my life to answer some very basic questions. As you obviously all know, there's a massive boycott going on right now against Bud Light over their hiring of Dylan Mulvaney, someone that many believe is a mockery of women, a spit in the face of traditional women, and I understand it because I believe the same thing. Now, obviously, as many of you, I know it's difficult to know these days, but I'm not a woman, so I'm not personally offended by it. I think Dylan is, honestly, it's my opinion is that Dylan Mulvaney is simply a grifter, somebody who understands the modern market, understands that, oh, they can do a little facial smoothing surgery or whatever, and they can pretend, they can put on this act and become a multimillionaire. And to be honest, it has completely worked. Even if Dylan Mulvaney never worked another day in their life, I mean, how much money have they probably made? From Oil of Olay to Nike to Budweiser to their massive TikTok following to it works. And so you're going to see more and more and more of this. Sorry to say, but it's just the truth. Dylan Mulvaney is just the first in a long line of people that will see this and figure it out. Many believe that there are people right now out there taking this path too. And maybe they're not wrong. So let's get to the James O'Keefe thing. This video is sponsored by Meta PCs. Real quick, it's the computer I use. If you use my promo code TheQuartering, you'll get 5% off. And you can go through, I put together this page with them with like a good, better, best. They're an American company. They are veteran owned. They have stuck with me through many cancellation attempts. My actual computer's here. They also do custom builds. And they do laptops, so you can go build your dream machine. You can pick one of the ones I put together. You don't have to get it wrapped. Some people have, and I think that's awesome, but you don't have to. You know, they also have financing and lease to own and all sorts of cool stuff like that. So I'll put their link in the description. When you're ready, tell them Jeremy from the Quartering sent you. They always love hearing that. So Dylan Mulvaney, what can only be described as someone who is, I don't know. I mean, I suspect for some brands, extremely beneficial because look at all of the chatter going around Bud Light right now, for example. Everybody's talking about Bud Light. Unfortunately for Bud Light, it's negative. Now, we don't know any actual sales numbers just yet. So when we do, we'll be able to determine exactly what level of impact this boycott has. And I don't know when they publish that. I suppose we'll see some more anonymous reports coming out after 2 weeks because this has been going on for 2 weeks now. But one of the more sinister parts of one of the more sinister groups or subsets of or stories, I'll say, in the trans community is biological men who are using it in the prison system to then house themselves with females. I don't know why on earth they would allow this in any state, but it actually happens all the time. They take advantage of women. They're predators in there. And so James O'Keefe said, so this just happened. Cheers, Bud Light. We got him. O'Keefe Media Group meme challenge. Let's see what the OMG citizen journalists come up with next. So James O'Keefe actually gets Dylan Mulvaney, which apparently never wears a different outfit. You see just now, and again, all credit to James O'Keefe here, but we're going to enjoy this one together. I follow O'Keefe Media Group, and I'll see if I can get James on next week to talk about this. Just now at the Four Seasons in LA, James O'Keefe questions Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney on OMG jailhouse footage showing woman inmates testifying on having to deal with biological men in there, doing obviously horrible things to them because they just claim to be transgender. This is a story that, by the way, genius marketing, right? It reinvigorates the story that they put out that already has over 1 million views. And so, big shout out to James's coverage on the Washington Correction Center. This is a correction center for women who now are testifying that biological men, are just pretending to be trans, getting transferred into women's prisons, and it's like an all-you-can-R buffet for them. It's disgusting, and you would think one of the last places that would get woke is our prison system, but there you go. So let's see what James has going on here.
I'm James O'Keefe with OMG News outside the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills. Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I haven't watched it. Like, I saw the look on their face from the gotcha, and they look just so scared. But I have not watched this video all the way through. I always like to save my reactions, for you all. So I clicked it last night because I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, I got to save it. So here we go. We're going to watch it together.
Is inside the women's restroom right now. So I'm going to ask him for comment about our story.
Interesting choice on restrooms.
Regarding women in prison by men claiming to be transgender. Here we go. Dylan, this is James O'Keefe, OMG. Women are being in a prison in Washington State by men claiming to be transgender. There's footage of them talking about.
Oh my God. Just like, oh my God.
Do you have a comment on the story here of the women being by the men claiming to be transgender?
Well,
James O'Keefe, OMG News. What do you think about the women who are being by the men who are transgender? Do you have a comment about that?
Please don't come in the elevator.
What do you think about? What is your comment to the women who are by men claiming to be transgender, Dylan?
He smartly didn't go in the elevator because that would have probably been a little too far.
So we're here with Dylan. Here.
He keeps putting his foot in the door to keep the door open.
Here, haven't had much Bud Light recently, but we're very interested in the women's prison. Dylan? Okay. She did go into she went into the women's restroom.
What the hell are you doing?
Hey.
This is a women's bathroom.
Trying to show them the footage. No comment here at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills? All right. I wonder where she's going. He's going.
Dude. Look at all the Bud Light.
Do you guys have any, like, O'Keefe beer? O'Keefe beer?
O'Keefe beer.
No O'Keefe beer? Do you guys have O'Keefe beer? You don't carry O'Keefe beer? You know when you'll get a shipment in?
Oh my God. Shout out to James O'Keefe. Absolutely crushing it. This opinion piece by Carol Markowitz from the other day, it's like women deserve more than to be lampooned by Bud Light and Nike. This stuff is boiling over. Actually, let me go back to this other story because, the men, biological men getting into women's prisons is happening all over this country. It's happening in other countries, happening in Europe, happening in Canada. Because like literally the penitentiary is afraid of being canceled, I guess. I don't really understand why on earth they would ever capitulate to that. And O'Keefe Media Group did talk about these, various inmates, that are just saying, oh yeah, I'm trans. And they get in there. It's got to be like a meme in men's prison. Like, who can convince them? So then they can go in with the women's prison, which I don't know, maybe it's better, maybe it's not. I've seen, I've heard stories from custodians who will tell you that women's restrooms are far grosser than men's. But, I don't know, obviously. It's interesting, brilliant marketing. I've never seen somebody, and that's, if I can get serious for a minute, that's really a part of all of this, isn't it? Certainly not all trans people want to use it for sinister reasons, but there are some. And there are many that aren't even trans. There are many people that believe Dylan Mulvaney is just doing the absolute bare minimum to grift off of the group. This is what happens anytime in history, really. It feels like when you have a group of people that you are not allowed to criticize, well, now you know who's in power. So the American people are controlled, 99.9% of people are controlled by 0.1% of people. If a biological male from a male prison can say, "Oh, I'm a woman, I need to be in a women's prison," like, are you joking? This is the kind of stuff that happens when you aren't allowed to question anything. When you're not allowed to say, like, "Wait a minute, player, like, you've got 9 kids and 6 baby mamas. No, go back in the hole." But it's like, oh no, that story gets out and CNN will run a story and say that our prison is transphobic. So we can't possibly allow that to happen. This is the sad result of all of this pandering. There's that saying that everyone says, like, certain groups of people can't reproduce, so they recruit. This is what the media is doing. They're glamorizing it. They're showing everybody all the loopholes that they can take care of, and Dylan isn't willing to take any responsibility for that, and that's because I believe that Dylan is just a grifter. But that's just my opinion anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.